Thank you for joining me for Best Practices for Entrepreneurs. This event isn't just for business owners, but for anyone in a leadership or manager role. My name is Bedford-Flood. I am president and founder of NextGen Recruiting and ProSource Staffing, and I'm excited to announce that I will be launching NextGen Executive and Leadership Coaching on January 1st. During my 26 years in business, I have spent more time coaching my clients on business and leadership than I've actually done recruiting for them. My team actually does most of the recruiting, and I help educate my clients and kind of guide them to success. And I found a lot of passion in coaching, and it just made sense for me to start a separate business for it. So I'm excited to see where this journey takes me. But I am even more excited to be able to dedicate more time to helping other owners, leaders, and managers grow. As usual, I want to make sure that I am respectful of your time. So we'll go ahead and get started. The reason why we're doing this today is many business owners seem to struggle with what is the best way to grow my business and also stay ahead of the competition. And being a leader involves a range of practices and strategies for success. We all know that. Sometimes we don't always, as solo owners or business leaders, know exactly what would be the best steps to take or how we're going to stay ahead of the game. So I just want to start by clarifying that during this, I probably will use the word leader more than I will entrepreneur or business, because it covers anyone basically in an authority role. So what are some strategies to kind of take you to that next step? We're going to discuss the importance of innovation and staying competitive in your field. This is one thing that I think is very important in today's society, in today's world, is we need to stand apart. And innovation stands as a critical pillar for maintaining competitiveness. It's not merely about introducing new products or service. It's about rethinking processes, challenging conventional wisdom, and embracing new technology and ideas. Innovative practices enable businesses to stay ahead of evolving market trends, anticipate customer needs, and differentiate themselves from their competitors. So some of the examples of this, when I talk to my clients about innovation, sometimes they don't really understand exactly what I'm talking about. So let me give you some examples. Netflix streaming service. They transitioned from a DVD rental service to streaming, fundamentally changing the entertainment industry and how people consume media. Spotify, music streaming. They changed the music industry by offering a streaming service with a vast library, personalized playlist, and a new revenue model for artists. Airbnb's business model. They transformed the hospitality industry by creating a peer-to-peer network for people to rent their homes, offering a more alternative to traditional hotel stays. I know for me personally, Airbnb has been extremely important when I'm taking vacations with my family. My children are now grown. They're 20, 29 and 25. My oldest daughter has a daughter, so I have a granddaughter. And when we travel, we all like to stay together, but it gets very expensive to do that when you're having to rent 3 hotel rooms. The Airbnb industry came along and simplified that and made it easier for someone such as myself to be able to rent a house where you've got 3 or 4 bedrooms, sometimes 5, 6, 7, 8 bedrooms, and your family can be together. So they really changed the hotel industry. That is actually one of my favorite innovations personally, that kind of changed the way that we vacation. So what are some tips on fostering a culture of innovation within your team or organization? Fostering a culture requires deliberate strategies and practices. So one of the things that you want to do is always make sure that you are encouraging open communication. Create an environment where everyone on your team feels comfortable sharing their ideas and opinions. Open lines of communication on encouraging creative thinking and collaboration is extremely important. And I think sets kind of a tone for the entire culture. This is one of the things that sometimes leaders or business owners don't necessarily want to engage in because they feel like they're giving up some of their power by allowing their team members to share ideas and opinions. And that's not necessarily the case. There's a lot that we as leaders can learn from our team. And it's important to allow them to be part of that decision making. What are some things that we can do and implement to move our business forward? A lot of them, especially some of the younger generation, have some great ideas on innovation and ways that you can improve your business and improve the structure of your company. Reward their creativity and their risk taking. Recognize and reward the employees who come up with the new ideas or take the calculated risk. Even if an idea doesn't go as planned, this encourages them to think outside of the box. And maybe one plan doesn't work out, but if you're anything like me as a business owner, all of my plans have not worked out. And in fact, probably most of them have not worked out. So I encourage my team to share their ideas and thoughts with me. I sit down with them once a year, at least. Oftentimes more than that, but we do a yearly end of the year meeting individually on what can we do to move our company forward. What are some of your innovative ideas and strategies? What are your thoughts and plans? How can we take what we've done in 2023 and make it better and more productive in 2024? Give the team members the time and the resources that they need to explore these ideas. This could be through dedicated innovation days or by allocating a budget for experimental projects. This is something that you can allow them to do individually, or you can allow them to do it as a group. Allow your team to come together for maybe an hour or maybe 2 hours a week to come up with ideas and strategies that they feel together might work for progressing and moving your company forward. Give them that opportunity. Let your different departments encourage the team to collaborate with different departments. That can provide fresh perspective and kind of stimulate innovative solutions to problems that you may have. Different brains work differently. I mean, you've got an engineering brain that might work way different than someone with an accounting brain. So allow those two departments to come together, or 3 or 4 departments within your organization to come together. If you don't really necessarily have separate departments because you're a smaller organization, that's fine, not a problem. You get where I'm going with it. Allow your administrative assistant to have a say. Allow your sales manager to have a say. Let them come together and talk about ways that they think might help progress the company. Keep up to date on your industry trends and technology advancement. This helps in anticipating market changes and adapting quickly. And this is so important. You do not want to get left behind. And if you do not stay up to date on your industry trends, and you'd be surprised at the number of people that I talk to that don't, you're going to fall behind. You have to build a culture of innovation and continually progress and evolve with the organization, and understand that there are different techniques and tactics and innovations that are happening that you may not know about, and create an ecosystem where new ideas are always welcome and explored, and be viable, be visible, implement. So when it comes down, we need to highlight the roles of the digital transformation and innovation. Make sure that your leadership and style is on point. You need to understand your own leadership style. This is another issue that I see with a lot of leaders is they really don't understand their leadership style, and they don't understand how it impacts their business. And it is extremely important to understand this, because the way that you lead may not be the way that your employees relate to. So I want to kind of cover a couple of different styles that can have a huge effect on how your employee and your employees in your team accept your leadership style. Not everyone's going to have the same personality. Not everyone is going to relate to your leadership style. So it's important that you understand your leadership style so that you can relate to your employees. Centralized decision-making with leaders having complete authority and little impact or input from their team members may not relate to someone who has a very active brain and a lot of ideas that they want to present to you. Are you willing to take the time to understand those employees and relate to those employees and say, you know what, I see what you have. I see the innovations that you have. I see the techniques and strategies that you have. Let's implement those. If you're not willing to do that and you are simply, it is your way or the highway, you can lead. The results are not going to move your company forward. I made this mistake early in my career. The impact can lead to quick decision-making, but often it results in lower employee morale and creativity. That is not going to take your company to that next level. So you might want to rethink how you're leading your team. You can stifle the innovation and the employee development in the long run. If you have a democratic leadership, the characteristics of this involve team members in the decision-making process where you're valuing their opinions and their feedback. And this is something that generally leads to much higher employee satisfaction and morale. It encourages a creative and collaborative work environment, but it could maybe slow down decision-making processes. So always make sure that you're somehow, if you can, if it is your style, to be involved. I've got clients that they want their team members, managers to make their own decisions without approval from the leaders of the company. And I think that that's probably a bad move from a leadership perspective. So keep that in mind as you're allowing your team to make decisions. Do you want to make in all of the decisions, or do you want to make in parts of decisions or suggestions and then coming to you for your advice and your input on that? Then you have transformational leadership, and this focuses on inspiring and motivating employees to achieve their highest potential and work towards a common vision. The impact on this is it often leads to high level of employee engagement, innovation, and productivity. However, it can require continuous energy and commitment from a leader. And then we have servant leadership. I have recently done a poll on what is your leadership style, and servant leadership ranked pretty high. The characteristics of this is focusing on serving the needs of the team and helping them grow and perform as highly as possible. And the impact is that it builds a positive company culture and strong team relationship, leading to high morale and engagement, but it might be less effective in a highly competitive environment where quick decision-making is crucial. Then you have your situational leadership. The characteristics of this is that they adapt leadership styles based on the situation and the development of the team members. And the impact is that it's highly flexible and effective in most environments, and it tailors leadership to the needs of the team and the business circumstances. So each leadership style has its strength, has its limitations, and the most effective leaders often blend aspects of different styles based on the needs of the team and the specific challenges that they face. So you may not have just one leadership style, The best choice of leadership style can depend on the factors like your company culture, team compositions, industry, business objectives. And if you want to learn more about leadership styles, connect with me or message me and we can schedule a time to discuss it further. If you want to change your leadership style, but you aren't sure how to go about doing that, reach out to me again and we can have a conversation to discuss how your current style and how we can have a discussion about your current style, how it is affecting your company, what your goal is for your company, and how we can switch gears there. The last thing you want to do is run off good team members because your style is too aggressive. Again, I made this mistake early in my career and I regret it. I ran off some good people that I shouldn't have run off and wish that I had some of them back. But, you can't look back. Hindsight's 20/20, right? So we want to talk about maybe some techniques for effective communication and decision-making and conflict resolution. This is an area where I find a lot of leaders and managers struggle with, not maybe always necessarily business owners, but managers who maybe haven't stepped into that higher leadership role. Effective communication, decision-making, and conflict resolution are key for success in any professional or personal setting. So you need to have a clear and concise message, be clear and to the point to avoid any misunderstanding. Make sure that your message is coming across clear to your team, that whatever the message is that you're trying to get across. Don't beat around the bush. Make sure that you're being straightforward and upfront. Pay attention to your body language, your facial expressions, and your tone of voice as you convey these words. You need to be empathetic, try to understand the perspective and feelings of others to build rapport and connection, and provide constructive feedback and be open to receiving it as well. Being a leader doesn't just mean that you're giving constructive feedback. You need to be able to accept it as well. This helps in continuous improvement. It will help your team improve and it will help you improve as a leader. Make sure that you're tailoring your messages. You have to adjust your communication style to suit your audience for better understanding and engagement. So you may not talk to your sales manager the same way that you might talk to your accounting manager. You have to adjust your tone and the way that you communicate with them based on their style. You have to mirror them to really kind of get your point across so that you both are on the same page. Make sure that you're asking questions. Open-ended questions are always best because it leaves it open for discussion rather than a yes or no. Encourage an open dialogue and clarify any misunderstandings by asking those open-ended questions. Make sure that you're identifying objectives. Clearly define what you want to achieve, and also make sure that you understand in return what your team is wanting to achieve so that you can work together in moving your business forward. So look at some of the possible options and potential outcomes of not being open to working with your team. Again, I reflect back a lot on, especially for new business owners, new leaders, new managers. Again, I'm going to use leaders interchangeably because that kind of covers a variety of roles. When you're coming into a management role or moving up even into more of a leadership role, you need to understand and think critically. You need to analyze your team. You need to understand your team without letting any bias affect your judgment. Make sure that you are not showing any type of favoritism to one employee over another. I see this a lot with new managers, especially a new manager that's been working on a team for quite some time and they end up moving into a management role. You need to really understand that your role as a manager is to lead that team. And the entire team needs to feel like they are part of the team and not just a piece of the team. You want to include them in every process moving forward. Seek advice and perspective from others, especially if they have expertise to offer, or they may be, or it may impact any type of decision moving forward. If it's going to move your company forward, you need to make sure that you're open to that. There's, again, if you have any questions on any of this, let's schedule a short 15-minute call. We can go into a little more detail on this, deeper conversation. We're getting close to the end. Again, I want to respect everyone's time. So if you have any questions on anything, let's make sure that we schedule a time to have a conversation so that we can move your company forward and discuss some options for you. Also make sure that your team, that you are, as you're moving your team forward, that you want to recognize that if any problems exist, that they need to be addressed. Don't sweep things under the rug. You need to have an open communication, encourage everyone to express their viewpoints, their concerns, their opinions, whatever the case may be. Make sure that you're open to that. Identify common goals that your team might have and focus on sharing objectives rather than individual positions. I'm sorry, I have something in my eye. Again, we talked about empathy and kind of understanding where your employees are coming from or your team members are coming from. Try to understand each party's perspective and their feelings, and make sure that you're communicating what you think that maybe they're trying to say to you. Repeat it back to them. Make sure that you're understanding. Again, clear lines of communication is very important. Collaboration within the team is something that you want to make sure that you have. You've got brainstorming ideas that can generate and bring up a lot of solutions and possible new ways for you to run either a team or your business, whether it's a social media campaign that they want to do or they have an idea on. Make sure that you're being open to that. Always respect people. I had a client that did not have any respect for their team members whatsoever. And we had to do a lot of training with this particular client to get them to understand that you have to maintain a calm demeanor and treat everyone with respect. You don't want your team to think that you have the mentality that they are beneath you. I personally feel like it is a privilege for me, for the people working for me, for them to choose to work for me. They've chosen to work for me. They continue to work for me because we connect. That is an honor to me because they could choose to work anywhere and they're choosing to be here. So if you have team members that have been with you for a while, they're doing a great job. Make sure you let them know they're doing a great job. Make sure you let them know that you appreciate them, because once they're gone, you can't go back and tell them later, I'm sorry I didn't let you know early on that I appreciate what you do for our organization. Don't have the mentality that you're doing them a favor, especially in today's market where we have 2 jobs for every 1 employee or possible employee. They are a value to your company. And if they are doing a good job for you, you need to make sure you let them know that. Agree on ways to move forward. If you come up with an idea or your team comes up with an idea and you don't agree on that idea, see if you can come up with a solution, maybe interchange some of the ideas, take a piece of this idea and a piece of that idea to move your business forward. That is what this is all about. You want to make sure that you are mastering techniques and working with individuals and teams to enhance the company and move the company to the next level. You want 2024 to be better than what 2023 was. And the only way to do that is to not think that you are the only solution to moving the company forward. It's going to take more than one person to advance. So if you have a high performing team, you want to make sure that you are continuing to develop and nurture your high performing teams. And the process requires a thoughtful approach and a leadership and team management that understands the importance of what it takes to be a team and not an individual. You need to, again, establish clear goals and expectations. Define these clear goals, achievable goals for your team up front from the very beginning. When you know what your goal is in the organization or your particular department, you need to ensure that each team member understands their role and their expectations that are placed upon them. Make sure that you're fostering a collaborative environment. You need to encourage teamwork and collaboration. Create opportunities for your team to work together and learn from each other. You don't always have to be the leader when it comes to letting them make decisions or letting them give their input. Again, we go back to give them an hour or two each week to let them come up with creative ideas. Let them bounce ideas off of each other. Let them figure out how they together can come together and mesh their 2 ideas or 3 ideas or 4 ideas or whatever the case may be to make one big, great idea. Maintain the open and transparent communication. Regularly check in with your team. If you are not a micromanager, make sure that you're constantly sharing any type of updates and feedback and information that's relevant to their work. Empower them to be what they want to be. Trust that your team members can make decisions and contribute their ideas. You can develop a team that is not only high performing, but also engaged, motivated, and aligned with the organization's goals and values. And those are just a few ways that we have found work well to achieve that. Again, we are running out of time. So we're going to probably do a part 2 because I have this going until 9:30 and it is now 9:27. There are so many other things that I want to cover, like adaptability in your business is one thing that is very important, especially with the ever-changing technology. And now we've got AI that is so big, and how you can change with the technology. Technology is always changing, and we need to be innovative, and we need to understand that it is changing. How can we stay ahead of the game? So we want to do a part 2, and next time I'm probably, so that I'm not feeling like I'm so rushed, I probably will do an hour so that I have more time to really communicate in thorough detail what I want to communicate instead of feeling like I'm rushed. But again, I know that everyone is pressed for time. You're a business owner, you're a manager, you're a leader. And so just to be able to spend 30 minutes with you to give you some ideas on ways that you can lead your team, and some ideas on leadership, the different styles of leadership, and ways to be creative. How can you take your department or your company forward? So I want to thank you all for joining me today. If you are interested in connecting with professionals in a peer advisory group, or you need one-on-one coaching, or you have any questions, whatever the case may be, please reach out to me and let's schedule a 15-minute call to see if we're a right fit for you. If we aren't, I can direct you to other people that might be. I'm not a one-size-fits-all. No coach is a one-size-fits-all. But I want to make sure that I am helping you move your business forward in 2023. So if you're interested in scheduling a call to discuss how we might be able to help you to do that, I would love to connect with you. I would love to spend some time with you just learning more about your business to see if we would be a right fit. I hope that you have a great Wednesday, and I will see you next time.